Good morning. It's currently 6:01 a.m. on Tuesday, May 2nd, 2015. Not May 2nd, June 2nd, 2015. I'm Christiana Ellis, and I did just get up. This is 5 more minutes. I'm trying to push to be getting up and out the door a little bit more quickly um, than I have been recently. Didn't change my alarm time, but I'm going to try to have a little bit less, screwing around and dilly-dallying and lollygaggling. Lollygagging, not gaggling. Although I almost feel like gaggling, lollygaggling. Why isn't it lollygaggling? Huh? I demand to know. Demand is a harsh word. I don't really care that much, I suppose. So I had a non-productive day yesterday. Work at the day job was fine, but then when Luna, come on. Luna. Luna, come on. Luna, come on. It's too early for that. It's too early. Luna is all wound up and excited because it's rainy outside, and so she got all wet from being outside, and now that just gets her all worked up. She wants to run around in circles and bark at everything. Where was I? Oh, right. So one of the things that happened yesterday is out of nowhere, the video game company that makes all of the Lego video games announced a game called Lego Worlds for PC Steam Early Access. And that means that you can go buy it as long as you understand that it's still just a beta. It's not finished, so it may not be super polished yet and so on. But that it's basically Lego Minecraft, only, without the specific branding. Just in the idea that you sort of get plopped down into a world made all of Lego. It's procedurally generated, and then you explore it and you find stuff and you can build things all out of Legos. And so I paid $15 for that. I have, I was all prepared to say I really like it, but I feel like I have a little bit of mixed feelings now that I just say it. I had a good time for the couple of hours that I spent with it last night, but I wonder if, certainly with Minecraft, the part that appeals to me, I don't know, my feelings about this are more complex than I first realized, I think. There is a lot of joyous discovery in what's here already. The idea that you're exploring all of these different things, that there's these worlds are bigger and more varied than you might at first think. And there's all sorts of weird little details that you discover. Like, for example, one of the types of Lego people you might come across is a warlock, and various enemy types and other character types. Like, once you meet them, and with an enemy, once you've defeated one, you unlock that model, and so you can choose to be the warlock. And I discovered that some of the different characters have their own special ability. Like, if you're a cowboy or a cowgirl, you can summon a horse at any time and ride that around. But the warlock can shoot these fireballs that just blast a hole in the Legos of whatever you're aiming at, and it's very satisfying. I think that there's a super lot of potential in it, in the sense that it's got a wide variety of different tools to allow you to, to shape the world around you in whatever way you see fit, which is fitting for a Lego game. But right now, it's also true that it feels a little bit It's still a little bit janky, which makes sense. Remember, it is an early access game that's not intended to be the polished final finished product. And this is a game that they want people to be playing the beta so that they can get a better sense of, like, well, what still needs fixing, what new features should there be. And it also, like, there's a couple of things that it feels like you should be able to do, but it won't let you do, or it's not obvious how to do it. Like, for example, I found what is obviously a submarine floating around in the water, and yet I couldn't figure out how to make it go under the water. Like, I could cruise it around on the surface, but it's so obviously a submarine, so why can't I go down underwater? Especially when in the game you can see there's stuff down there. Or at least that there's, there's terrain. It's modeled. It's not just, blank. I don't know if there is actually anything to find down there because I couldn't figure out any way to do it. Whether you're swimming as a character or in a boat of some kind, I could only figure out how to cruise around. But there are flying vehicles, and so it seems like the controls that allow you to go up and down when you're flying should allow you to descend and ascend in the water if you have a vehicle capable of same. And then also, like, I only tried just a little bit of building. And although there are lots of tools, like I said, because everything's still a little bit janky, I was having a hard time doing what it was that I was trying to do. If you're placing brick by brick by brick, like, if you're just I want to make a castle out of pink bricks. You can select the pink brick and you can start laying them out, and as long as you're doing it kind of slow and steady one at a time, that's reasonably straightforward. But there are some tools that seem like they ought to be able to automate it, and yet when I try to, like, for example, I lay out a square on the ground that's just going to be the footprint of it. And so I make it out of these pink 4x2 bricks, and I make the whole square. And then I can select that square, and it seems like what I ought to be able to do is copy that and say, okay, now make another one of those, and I'm going to stick it on top of that one and do the same again, and quickly make, the walls. But I couldn't seem to actually make that happen. Maybe it's just a matter of not being very familiar with the tools yet. Maybe it's just that it's still a little bit janky, as I said. Anyway, I don't know. I highly doubt if it can really dethrone Minecraft itself. That's kind of a juggernaut now, but it definitely seems like if they can get this thing super polished, and there's a number of elements that could really be cool. Like, for example, one of the things that you can do is, like, there's one of the, just like a little Lego house that's a real Lego set, and it's like one of the things that's unlocked as you start the game, and you can just pick to build it, and it just builds the whole set right there in your little world. And it occurs to me that if they worked up some sort of a thing where any Lego set that you actually have and can prove it, that you just, like, you get that in your Lego world, that would be super awesome. It does occur to me, though, that I'm not sure how you would prove that. Like, if I have a bunch of Lego sets from years past, how would I prove that I have it now? Because I don't always save the box. Like, I'll often save the instructions, but not the box. I don't know. Anyway, all that remains to be seen. In any case, I spent a couple of hours doing that, and that was lots of fun. And then I also played, because I was already in a video game thing, a couple more hours of The Witcher, and then I didn't get anything else done. One of the interesting things about The Witcher, just as a brief side note, because I'm already almost at 10 minutes, is that you have to pay attention in that game when people are talking. Skip through the dialogue at your peril in that game, because there are frequently times where crucial details to what you need to know are revealed in the dialogue, but you don't seem to have any way to review it later. Which, I don't know, there's kind of a plus and a minus there. Obviously, it can be a pain in the butt if you miss something and have to look it up, or like in a walkthrough or something, but on the other hand, it rewards paying attention, which is kind of cool. All right, 10 minutes. Yikes. Okay, so I will talk to you guys tomorrow for 5 more minutes.